All right, coming in at number 18 on our 2024 Locked On Sens NHL Draft Rankings from the Windsor Spitfires, their captain, Liam Greentree.
Ross, the Windsor Spitfires, let's not brush over this. They were a rebuilding OHL team. And when I say a rebuilding OHL team, I really mean it. They had 18 wins in a 68 game season. So, not a lot of gas in the tanks of those Spitfire planes as they spent most of the time on the ground. But Liam Greentree, he was able to elevate his game despite that. In 64 games, he had 36 goals, 54 assists, good for 90 points. So 90 points in 64 games on a terrible team certainly is impressive. You mentioned it. He's the captain of the Spitfires. He finished 24 points ahead of any other teammate. So he was the man down in Windsor, and he had 4 points in 7 U18 games. EP awarded him as the third best power forward. So we just talked about Chernyshov there as the fourth best power forward. So Greentree's one step ahead of him. And they also gave him the fifth best vision award. So you look at a power forward with vision, Ross, and I like the term they have for Greentree. EP likes to refer to him as a power playmaker, not necessarily a power forward or a power sniper, but power playmaker. I like that.
That is a nice way to call Liam Greentree. Now, there's some concerns, but a lot to love about this player. Liam Greentree, you rang it off. The stats on a team that just wasn't great, having 90 points in 64 games, super impressive. Enough so that Elite Prospects has him at 15th on their list. Bob McKenzie at 17, McKean's at 17, Wheeler at 18, Pronman at 23, Button at 25, and Peters all the way down at 31. He just clocked in at 6'3", 215 pounds. He's right wing, but shoots left. So a rare case where, a North American goes that direction. Played a diminished role. Wheeler saying that his pace wasn't able to keep up with the better teams at this spring's U18s. Still had 2 goals, 2 assists, but a disappointing overall U18s because at the pre-tournament, he was buzzing and everyone was kind of whispering, hey, look, Liam Greentree's on a good team now, surrounded by better players. No disrespect to his teammates in Windsor, but he should be able to produce more, and it wasn't the case. So I am going to be looking out for his pace as he develops as a prospect, but he's a highlight reel. Like he comes in and for his size, he's able to maneuver the puck. He's got such great control and he gets to the dirty areas. So those are all things that I really like about Liam Greentree. And no spoilers, but we're at 18 on our list right now, and he's 18 on mine as well. He's the top player for me that we've already covered so far, and I just think that it's because of that size, skill, hope that we can get the speed up to that same echelon. Maybe not as good as the vision and the hands and everything, but I think if his skating can improve a bit, he could be a 30-goal scorer at the NHL level.
You've got him ahead of EJ Emery?
I've got him ahead of EJ Emery.
Whew.
You thought
All
EJ was
right.
going to be number 1 on my list, eh?
I thought he was going to last at number 1 on your list a lot longer than this. So
Yep.
that's a big move here, Ross. And look, I certainly understand why you have him so high. He plays with so much confidence. He can set teammates up, or he can finish the job himself. He's got a great release as well. You certainly can't downplay that. And I like the way that EP talks about his playmaking. He's one of those guys that scans the ice and then he's able to quickly make those calculations in his head and is like, I know the best play. I know the most efficient way to get the puck into the zone, to set up my teammates. And clearly 90 points in 64 games when he had to be the guy, he's able to do that at a really high level. Now, you did mention as well, Ross, but it needs to be emphasized. The skating is the big issue here. Now, when you're 6'3", 215 pounds, no one expects you to really be Connor McDavid out there. But if you're going to be a guy that's going to continue to progress and play in the NHL, he's going to have to pick up his skating. EP's got him at 4.5 skating rate
On the
here.
1-9 trail.
Yeah, interesting that they do a 1 to 9 rating.
The scale, yeah.
that's certainly something I've never heard of. I wonder why you don't just go for the standard 1 to 10, but maybe because they're saying literally no prospect can have 10 out of 10 skills as it relates to the NHL level. But the skating really holds me back from Greentree Ross. I've got him closer to the end of the first round. Right now, I've got him at 31 here, just because I'm really worried that when you're the top guy in Windsor, sure, you don't have the support from your teammates that you want, but you're put in all the best positions. And I don't want that to be such a knock on him, because it can be seen as a knock or elevating your point that he's such a good player. But I'm just so worried about the skating here, Ross, that it's got me a little bit or quite a bit lower actually than you on Greentree here.
Okay, and a Western Conference scout would agree with you, saying he isn't someone who scares the opposition, telling elite prospects, but says he's a complimentary player. And I'm okay with him being that, because this is not a target for the Sens at 7. This is at 25, and I think that they need some more complimentary players. I think this guy would be a great line mate for Tim Stützle. I think
Sure.
he would be a perfect kind of, skating aside, and Brady Tkachuk's not the most pretty skater in the world, but he gets around, and he's also an elite playmaker. So I'm not saying Liam Greentree's Brady Tkachuk, but you don't need the elite skating as long as you're playing with a guy who's better at carrying the puck. And
Ross, look at Mark Stone, right?
There you go.
Cement in his boots, but thinks the game at such a higher rate than most of his peers. That's Liam Greentree, right? Needs to work on that skating, but his hockey IQ alone may be able to completely erase the fact that he's a step or two behind competition.
Agreed. And Elite Prospects has him as shades of Matt Boldy, but one of the scouts quoted has him like a Rutger McGroarty, Colby Barlow type. So where you have all the tools, and guess what? Shelly Kettles, sign her up for a Liam Greentree skating session throughout the summer, and I think we will see Liam Greentree thrive in the National Hockey League. I'd take my bet on that for the 90-point man from the Windsor Spitfire. So if you have him that low, he's not a 4 or 5-star guy for you, because he's a 5-star guy for me at 25 for the Sens.
Who are your 5-star guys? Emery and him?
And Pilsy.
Solberg?
Stian Solberg.
Nice.
And I think I'm 4.5 to 5 stars. I leave the rating system for you. I'm more of like do I have him as a target at that pick? But I will say Sacha Boisvert is right up there for me too.
Yep, I like him too. I've got Greentree at 3.5 stars, Ross. I like the player. I think there is a lot to build on for him, and if he can work on the skating, I'll be impressed. Obviously you don't get this opportunity, but I would love to see how next season works for him. You would think the Windsor Spitfires get a little more talent, and you want to see if he can replicate this. But as a scout in the draft, you don't get to wait till next year. Yeah, you don't get to do that. So obviously I'm saying that tongue in cheek. But look, if the Sens took him at 25, I'd be more than okay with that, because I do think there's a lot of potential here. But I would even say, Ross, I'm more inclined to look at guys like Ryder Ritchie, Cole Baudouin, Jet Lachenko. Like those guys, I think I would put ahead of Greentree, just because I think their skating is either up to par with everyone else or even better. So those are the types of players I have Greentree in the mix. So 3.5 stars for me.
With an average ranking of 20.9, Liam Greentree comes in at 18 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft rankings. For more, go check us out on YouTube.